Alright, good evening everyone. System Chalk here with the fourth part of the Dancer Legacy, playing as Margaret Zell. Let me just get reacquainted with where we're at. So, Despair Abates, we've got the Contentment. I think that was from the Season of Ardors. Trembling in the Air, I don't think I'd noticed that this was happening, but we are good. I don't see any fascination emerging. We ended last session going to Moorlands. I think this is a nap, yes. So Season of Suspicion coming up again. Not a whole lot of things that I'd be doing to potentially generate negative reputation. We're exercising the body. Now this was just to preserve, or was this to preserve vitality? I suspect it was, but I still need one more lesson learned. And then we were doing a private performance. We'll likely have to take care of Lord Timothy Monday as well. It's actually debatable as to whether or not I want to have the gaps that I've been doing, or maybe I should do something a little more regular. There is something kind of nice about having the two benefactors one after the other, because there isn't that 15-second window. I don't know. I'll think about it. But I believe we are ready to unpause and keep going. Now, of course, we haven't made much progress in terms of bringing people into sort of into my orbit, and I should probably think a little bit about how I'm going to do that. But for now, for whatever reason, despite my best efforts, my benefactor does not seem interested in me tonight. They do make an effort to bid me a courteous goodbye, but their customary gift seems like an afterthought. Interesting. So in this case, they're getting bored, even though even though I did my best. Okay, so we will we'll want to try and get that health back as quickly as I can, and I think I am going to run the risk of stacking the benefactors after all. My benefactor would be delighted if I would offer a private performance for a small and refined audience. They'll invite me to dinner afterwards, and of course offer suitable gifts in return for my time. If I wanted, I could use the Barber's Warning to try and attract people, but with a Season of Suspicion coming up, I don't think that's a wise choice. Alright, I am refreshed, so that's good. We'll probably use that for studying to get the extra vitality, if I'm completely honest. I should also recover from fatigue. I believe this does potentially... I think this counts as Invoking Heart, so I may get a Course of the Heart as a result of it. And we found the Orchid Transfigurations, Volume 2, a 16th century alchemical fever dream attributed to Robert Flood, frequently banned for the disturbing allure of its illustrations. This is in the original Latin. So I kind of like the idea of a character who picks up a book in Latin, even though they don't necessarily understand it. I think one of the reasons for that myself is that there's a couple of times I picked up books that seem like they would be interesting, but I sort of know that they're a bit beyond me. So, like, you know, there might be another reason why you get it. In this case, it could be the illustrations, for instance. But I have that ambition to sort of work up towards them. For those of you, I don't always like talking about other games that much, but there's a... Personally, I think a not very helpful story that goes around about the designer of Bloodborne and Dark Souls. The story as it's usually told is that they read a lot of fantasy books, but they didn't really understand English that well, and so they... you know, this explains the very opaque way of telling the story, the stories for Dark Souls and Bloodborne and such. And there is a grain of truth to it, but the reason why this is a silly belief is that it implies that in sort of a somewhat rural part of Japan, there is some library full of English... Oh yeah, sorry, the version of this is also, you know, he's reading these in the library. That it's a library full of English language fantasy books with nothing else available. And this just is silly. What is true, though, was there was a Guardian interview, and the designer explains that he couldn't necessarily afford to buy manga or you know, the things that he wanted to read, and so he went to the library and he read what was available, and that would often mean reading things that were above his reading level, and he would sort of do the best with what he had available at the time. Doesn't have anything to do with, you know, these stories are made deliberately deliberately opaque. There's a little, I think there's maybe a small connection you can make with that, but obviously, like, I kind of explained the version as I normally hear rather badly, but I think the really important thing about it is that, like, this is not a hard thing to fact check, but I keep hearing this story about, you know, English translation being the reason why these games are difficult to understand. But what is true, and one reason why I like that story, and this ties to the orchid transfigurations, is that when I was when I first moved, I moved to another city, basically straight out of high school, and my music player broke. So I didn't really have too many. Options. I certainly couldn't, you know, buy a new one. I couldn't seem to repair what I had. So out of sheer desperation, I went to the library, and I wound up reconnecting with a great love for reading that maybe I'd sort of let atrophy over the years. And this did mean sort of oftentimes sort of picking up some things that maybe were a little bit beyond my, I don't know, full understanding. Like, I tried some philosophy. It was sort of, I was aware of it. There were some things that I found very compelling as far as quotes. But, you know, eventually I started picking up some things that were maybe a little bit more ambitious than you should for maybe a first philosophy book. But I still found it very compelling, and I went through. And I've not gone so far as to get a book in another language that I'll work towards. I do have, like, books in French, but they're French instruction books. But I still like this idea that, you know, Margaret has gone to Moreland's shop, and there is something, maybe this is because of the connection with the dreams or that, even though it is written in a language that she doesn't understand, and there's really no direct means of translating it, right? She doesn't know anybody who knows Latin, doesn't have a book to explain Latin. There's no real indication that this person is going to learn it, and yet there is something very compelling about this book that motivates her to buy it. And again, this may be a unique thing, but, you know, sometimes, you know, I don't believe in the statement, you can't judge a book by its cover. I have walked through libraries, and I like walking through libraries precisely because I do not immediately get the thing that I need. I have to go through things that I don't necessarily look for, but an interesting cover or an interesting title will catch my attention, and all of a sudden there's a whole new thing that I never knew about that suddenly I know about. I think that's kind of why I like seeing a character like Margaret getting the orchid transfigurations. All right, tonight my benefactor is full of energy. I should be too. After the performance, I am flushed and I am perspiring, but my benefactor seems to like that. They have brought me a glittering little something. Okay, definitely need to make a move with the lessons learned. I'm going to run out of time with these, but definitely need to get to the Gaiety Club, or the Gaiety Theater. The stage awaits hot and clean and bare and bright. If I move the moves and step the steps and do what is required, they'll pay me. And we will take our fatigued health, try and get that recovered. And sickness comes up again, so this might be one that I want to spend funds on depending on what's available. In this case, I'm going to go back to Moreland's. Takes time to sort the gold from the dross, the wheat from the chaff, the blood from the water. If I buy enough books, I'll find something interesting. And my name just now is clear. Any guardians remain in the shadows. Alright, so getting close on the lessons learned. In fact, No, we may still be able to make this work. I think, yeah, we're good for health. So I could use... I do have a little passion available, so let's try and go through the wood. We've found our way, but we've not actually used it yet. Now I pass between scarbark trees. The moon passes behind branches, though her fingers remain in my hair. I'm stumbling over roots now. It is tempting to drop to all fours to avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. And there's our Course of the Heart. Good news. Let's do... Oh, sorry, I should have read the text. I'm thinking that this is probably some kind of a mistake. Okay, so I'm sort of ahead of everything. I could actually afford to work my contract at the Ecdysis Club. The Ecdysis Club opens, I have learnt, on a rhythm determined by the moon as she alters her shape. It is always, but not only, open on nights of the new moon. So we could bring in the Ecdysis Club. We could bring in my purpose. Ability or scar. What of myself shall I commit? So I could bring my health, passion, or... Oh, this is interesting. The final fulfillment of a desire... nope, that's not as relevant. Ah, interesting. I'm gonna bring my... So, thunder almost. No. Passion. Tonight we are masked and move like celebrants. Sulochana waits in the wings, eyes hooded. So there's not much else for me to bring right now. Actually, you know what? Fleeting reminiscence. Yes. The vehemence of skin. Tonight we are wrapped tightly in scarves of green silk. We will disrobe with more vehemence than usual. Before I begin, Mr. Agdistus hands me up a mouthless oval mask. The green of spring leaves. I hesitate a moment before I put it on. He has smeared its inner surface with fresh loam. Okay, sickness has got me. And we have on what is contained by silver, a bestiary by Pomander and Greek. Not helpful, but let's try our luck with the fleeting reminiscence. So I'll have to take care of Nicole after this. My own heart pumps more strongly today. Okay. So I can't turn this into a lesson learnt yet. Actually... We're going to be short one lesson learnt, sadly. Memory is a maze, and at its heart, a garden. Okay, that dread didn't help me. I'm tempted to walk the streets again. Better go to Moorlands. Takes time to sort the gold from the dross, the wheat from the chaff, the blood from the water. If I buy enough books, I'll find something interesting. Oh, what am I doing? I did have contentment, but the dream slot was taking it up. Okay. No, actually, sorry. No, yep, no, I'm still wrong. But this will still work out for me. So we combine these two vitality. Oh no, hang on. Yeah, I've got the lesson learned. Yeah, now I'm short. Okay, so this is going to decay into a single vitality. I can combine one of these into a lesson learned, but I don't necessarily want to do that right away. So what I will do is I will get another fresh air and exercise, and then we will... I really get to talk to... My benefactor insists on discretion. We can't speak here, my dear. Let's be discreet. I think that's true for... Yep. Interesting. Okay. This is going to be a little dicey, but I think I will be able to get my higher level... Okay, buzzing in the brain. Now this might be helpful for another engagement at the Ecdysis Club, but we're not going to be doing that anytime soon. The well can potentially get me some health, if I recall correctly. So let's give that a shot. And here we get an awareness of appetite. Oh, this is interesting. Through the wood. The well in the wood is never dry, but it is never clear. One night it might heave with crawling roots. On another, it will pulse with bright moss. On nights of the full moon, its waters are choked with fat-dabbled bodies of moths. Last night I saw it brimming with dark and viscous blood. Gelatinous shreds drifted on its surface. Clots of grail matter. And every sense is heightened, every sensation deepened. Okay. So, not much I can do about the passion right now. Actually, that's going to have consequences for the contract at the cabaret. And I believe I'm actually going to be late. Yeah, I didn't really think through my timings. Okay. Well, we'll get hit by it and we'll figure things out. When the first scarf comes away, the pain is shocking, like a tearing scab. The next one is easier, and the next, but I stagger a little. My compatriots glance at me in concern. I know that my expression is invisible behind the mask. For a conclusion, we wind together in a ring. When I tear away the last scarf, the wrench is like a root torn from the earth. I dare not remove the mask. Afterwards, my skin is unmarked. So we got a silver spintrea for it. We exhausted our passion. And for our effort, we got some mystique, so now would not be a bad time for me to potentially talk about the other. Sorry, we can talk about the barber's warning now. And garments sundered. The ring you commanded, I bear my flesh, and I obeyed. I will not always obey the ring you. In the season of ambitions, this can upgrade your change desire. Okay. So, first things first, we need to speak to Nicole. So we will use our health, and we will pay for glamour. My benefactor would be delighted if I'd offer a private performance for a small and refined audience. They'll invite me to dinner afterwards, and of course, offer suitable gifts in return for my time. So we may get lucky in terms of the timing, but I think there's another 15 seconds required. Okay, I don't need to recharge any health. We still don't have what we need. Yeah, so we'll just put that there. Oh, right, I was going to talk about the barber's warning. So we've got a mystique on the table now. We might as well make the most of the opportunity. Okay, time passes. Time the sundial's shadow passes. I must have funds to live, or I will become ill. Speaking of, this illness has damaged my health. I will need to rest before I'm fully recovered. Cure your affliction with funds or vitality. Now, my preference would be to use the vitality that comes from... Actually, you know what? Come to think of it, I've got expiring vitality here, so it makes more sense for me to use the oldest vitality on the board. All I need now is time. And I found something noteworthy, The Queens of the Rivers, a surreal contemporary play by the enigmatic Monica Medina, in which the Queens of the Rivers are murdered one by one. That's a book we can actually read. I should probably sort them a little bit better. Okay, and again, I've got some money, so I might as well make the most of it, particularly because I have a bad habit of running through my funds. Like, I tend to just have a little bit of a better sense of urgency when my funds are down, so being able to turn it into something that I'll use to upgrade my character is always a nice option. Okay, Ecdysis Club is available again if I need. I'm most interested in what will happen at the contract at the Gaiety. I found something noteworthy. Kerner Gertz Ausfrühlich Grammatik der Griechischen Sprache. A Greek grammar, an essential language for a ferocious struggle with a challenging language. Now, I've always kind of thought that the motivation for the dancer here, and this may, you know, this can really be whatever you want it to be, but I've always kind of imagined in the case of the dancer, particularly once they're in sort of higher society, you have sort of these influences from other, from the, oh, interesting. Oh, no, I get it now. So where I think this becomes interesting is that, you know, you have this you have these circles that that they're operating in, and there's sort of this expectation of them being able to sort of perform and to basically be whatever their clients want. And so there's this idea of, you know, if you've got people of a certain level of education, that they may actually be familiar with the works. You know, it'd be nicer if I could refer to the literature rather than the TV series, but I particularly remember the sequence in the Handmaid's Tale adaptation where basically the Fred has a Latin phrase and is describing it. And of course, in the case of the handmaid, this is someone who's not allowed to read at all. And so in this case here, right, you have certain expectations of behavior and what in some cases even rule breaking. But in this particular case here, I see maybe a motivation for Greek. One thing you could say, it's like maybe it's the book that spoke to you and you want to understand it better. But the other alternative is that in order to sort of operate in these, you know, in these elevated environments, you maybe feel an obligation to better yourself or to take on a certain set of a certain branch of knowledge that maybe you wouldn't under normal circumstances. And again, it's kind of, you can interpret it however you'd like, but I've always thought that was kind of a neat way of looking at it. I just want to double check that I'm getting this right. So we've got 117. I actually think we're on a treadmill that we can't quite finish. So I can double it up, but again, I need 2 rounds of that, and that's not going to cover us in 117 seconds. So I'm actually going to get another vitality here. And then we'll just knock out the lessons learned as quickly as possible. Oh. All right, now one way or the other, I definitely need, tonight my benefactor would be pleased by inventiveness, enthusiasm, brio, passion. Now one way or the other, I'm either going to disappoint Lord Timothy Mundy or the Gaiety. So going to the Ecdysis Club proved a costly choice, but it is one more in line with my true purpose. For whatever reason, despite my best efforts, my benefactor does not seem interested in me tonight. They do make an effort to bid me a courteous goodbye, but their customary gift seems like an afterthought. Grim. So as it turns out, we were able to make it to the Gaiety right away, but I'm definitely going to put the time into my benefactor who cares about me more. So my benefactor would be delighted if I'd offer a private performance for a small and refined audience. They'll invite me to dinner afterwards and, of course, offer suitable gifts in return for my time. Contract to the Gaiety suspended. I've missed too many performances. If I bleed convincingly enough, I might get my job back. Okay, that passion's taken up. Trembling in the air, so I don't need to worry about the fascination. And dread, that dread will go away. It'll take up the dream slot, though, so I may want to be a little more careful about that. Okay, sick room grows close and stale. Time to get up. Now, let me think a bit about what I can do next. Well, we can get rid of the fatigue. So, combine, but then this decays, but then we combine it with this vitality. We'll be good. Collection of poetry. I found something noteworthy. So yeah, this is definitely a bit of a tough path we went on, but it'll pay off. So I need to make sure that in a bit of time I can get my contract back. Although what I think I'll do is I might juggle my benefactors for a bit and then come back to the Gaiety. Just have a extended sabbatical. Didn't realize how much time's already gone by. We're almost near the end. All right, I am refreshed. Nope, I don't want you to go there. All right, what can I do with the dream slot right now? I don't think it's wise for me to take up more passion. I've actually generally have been short on passion, so I think at this point I just need to use health. Sorry, get my health back where I can. Tonight, my benefactor would be pleased by inventiveness, enthusiasm, brio, passion. And that's not going to be available for a while because of the acquaintance. So, unlucky me. And we've got Gildersleeve's Latin grammar. So this one I definitely imagine is inspired by finding the orchid transfigurations. I've neglected my studies, but I stand a little straighter. Okay, so we are just going to knock these vitality into lessons learned as rapidly as we can. And for whatever reason, despite my best efforts, my benefactor does not seem interested in me tonight. They do make an effort to bid me a courteous goodbye, but their customary gift seems like an afterthought. So, tough call. Tough times in my profession. I need to make sure that I'm paying a little more attention. Although maybe I just want to take the money and run. It takes time to sort the gold from the dross, the wheat from the chaff, the blood from the water. If I buy enough books, I'll find something interesting. Okay, so this time we won't run into the problem with the passion. Sorry, I meant to do the private dance for Nicole. So again, I want to keep an eye on this, but I'll do the high return activity. And we found Eldridge, an elegant man of inelegant habits. You might be able to recruit this acquaintance as a follower. So somewhat appropriate that we find a fellow moth. So learning the cost of... I just don't think I can sort of afford to have passion get sucked up like that. Obviously that took too much from my day job, so we are gonna hold off on the talk verb for now. Maybe chat with Sula-chan every once in a while, but for now I'm gonna... I mean, actually, I guess one thing I could do would be to take the barber's warning and... no, sorry. I'd want to found a cult. Yeah, no, I'm gonna leave things be. Mirrors are calm, the sun is steady, the glory recedes. I'm sane if that means anything. No fascination drives your visions. It's over for now. And some days are better than others. Sometimes the sky is nothing like a filthy sheet. Sometimes the river runs clear. Now, there's a couple of things I want to keep careful of in terms of my my use. So my dream slot's quite important in terms of keeping my my health up. So under normal circumstances, I would want to use the contentment to get rid of the dread, but the fact of the matter is the dread's gone in 20 seconds and I don't have anything to threaten me right now. I'm not gonna get the restlessness because I'm advancing my change. In this situation, I'm going to... Yeah, the biggest thing I need to worry about is the restlessness, which isn't going to get eaten at the Gaiety, so we'll let everything run by on its own. Locksmith Stream. Found something noteworthy. So again, I'd prefer to be doing other things with the Explore verb, but right now just being able to turn... Like, I might keep a savings of like 10 funds or something like that, but this is a nice little stack of books to work with. Almost all of this is going to be immediately useful for me. And again, I don't have anything to do with the dream slot for the moment. That'll change momentarily. So we'll combine these two, and then we can upgrade our physique. Tonight, benefactor will prefer to see me in something new. I should buy something quickly. I'm ready to grow stronger. Use this lesson learnt with your strength skill. Okay, so again, we'll take the vitality that's just about to expire, otherwise we will not be able to do our upgrade. So I'm a brim with vitality. If I devote some time to exercise, I will benefit. And I originally wanted to try and get the exercise all sorted out, but clearly I couldn't get that done in time. So I think I do need to leave it here. Sorry to end it on such a mundane note, but just gives me something to think about for the oncoming week. Obviously, right now we've been focusing a lot on our work and our profession. That'll definitely lay a good financial foundation for what we want to accomplish. But what is noteworthy is that this is probably one of the earlier times I've advanced my temptation. So of course we're going to need to wait, but we've actually already done sort of a special dance at the Igdisis Club. I don't even remember what the text for the normal dance is, but in this particular case, I think this is this is definitely new ground for me as far as the speed in which I'm pursuing a temptation. But in any case, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. As always, if you are enjoying the series and you've not yet done so, please consider subscribing. If you'd like to be notified of the new videos coming out, those can be enabled by hitting the little bell beside the subscription. And of course, if you are enjoying the videos and would like to let me know, I'd very much appreciate a like. And of course, I do enjoy reading your comments. It's just nice to interact with people, just like finding someone in the Mansis and untangling them from the roots. It's neat to build community. And of course, most importantly, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all on Monday. Take care and have a wonderful weekend.